Another mystery. All the dates and reasons are subject to debate. Presumably, it was when Europe had a renewed interest in the arts, literature, and philosophy, then made the transition from the Middle Ages to science and the Enlightenment. Arbitrary start dates could be the writings of Dante and the paintings of Giotto in the 13th century, or the Ghiberti doors of the baptistry in Florence and the Brunelleschi dome of the Florence Cathedral in the 15th century. There were the talented polymaths, with Leonardo and Michelangelo the most famous, spanning the 15th and 16th century, excelling in painting, sculpture, architecture, engineering, and more. Great artists of the period often excelled in other fields. Considered Raphael, Durer, Titian, El Greco, Bosch, and Botticelli. This was a period of great art, funded by massively wealthy aristocrats, merchants, and bankers. There was science with Copernicus, Galileo, and Kepler, then the printing press and the rise of literature. It seems incoherent for great art and war to happen simultaneously, but yeah, it's easy to generalize that Euro wars never seem to stop, with battles everywhere. The 30 Years' War, the 80 Years' War, and the 100 Years' War. There were Italian wars, French wars, English wars, English wars with France, and religious wars. However, Henry V's victory over the French knights at Agincourt in 1415, part of the Hundred Years' War, showed the weaknesses of armored knights. Gunpowder and cannons changed warfare completely. Gunpowder was a late arrival from China to Europe, with gunpowder, gun barrels, and cannons by the 14th century. Charging knights in full armor was out, attacking castles and walled cities was in, plus more piracy at sea. The Renaissance was great for the rich folk, with elaborate banquets using talented chefs. Meat was excessive, usually roasted and heavily spiced. Add sugar-filled desserts and lots of fine wine. It was not great for peasants relying on grains for bread and pottage, vegetables, and basic stews. To drink, it was water, milk if a cow was available, and homemade beer. Nope. The 14th century was the worst, which included the Great Famine of 1315 to 17. Add the Black Death and other recurring plagues and diseases. Social stratification with the feudal system was still common, which meant food and potential for starvation depended on class. Farm technology lagged the strides and in the arts and basic sciences. Gunpowder, cannon, and individual firearms changed military strategies. At the soldier level were muskets, which turned infantry into the dominant force, using linear formations to maximize musket firepower. Generals developed strategies to combine infantry, cavalry, and artillery forces. Most soldiers would be from the lower classes, with the elites the officers in charge. This generally meant more professional armies and the need to feed them under all circumstances. Better food meant a more resilient force with higher morale. My main focus on war and food will mainly be World War II, and we're getting there. Before that, there were significant wars with food, part of the war strategies, starting with the revolutions in America and France, next time on Food History and Mystery.